so I know that everybody is on this pursuit of being like that girl, the it girl, baddie club, and just being a boss, all of that. Like, those are just terms that are kind of just being thrown out there. I understand that like social media has just put a lot of pressure on people to become that girl, okay? And I have been like listening and learning for the longest time, and you know, kind of just wanted to give my input on like how I believe I've become that girl in the last year and a half. So stay tuned. Alright, so you know, although this is a term that is very much about like life and goals and achieving big things, I also feel like this can be not just about like coming up in life, but also coming up in like your mind and just how you view yourself and how you show up in life. I am all about holistic growth, okay? I don't think it's important to focus on one area of your life when every other area of your life is like dying. I think you grow as everything grows, and it's so important to nourish everything in your life, okay? You don't want to be super successful and your life sucks, okay? Like everything else in your life is just disorderly. And most of the time, I feel like you can't be successful when you're like other areas of your life are not doing well. I mean, I guess you can, because quite frankly, there's a lot of successful and happy people. But for the most part, it takes a lot of discipline to become successful. And I feel like that discipline kind of translates to every area of your life. So again, my way of doing things is kind of focusing from the inside out, because I believe that like you don't want to be one of those people that have everything externally, but internally it sucks to be you. Like you are just broken and damaged and all of that. And I've been there before and I never want to go back there. So I'm so thankful for how God has kind of been like building me up from the inside out. And I'm going to share some of the tips and tricks that I have been implementing in my growth journey that I also believe that you can implement in yours to kind of become that girl. And I'm sorry guys, this video is kind of dedicated to my women, my sisters, but I feel like there are things that you can also learn here too. So if you're a dude, stay tuned, because I'm sure there are some things that you can use. Alright, so for me, I don't know if any of you guys know, but like I went to school for nursing initially, and I just believe in the importance of like wellness and taking care of your health, taking care of, you know, your physical body. And so one way that I've been able to become that girl is by really prioritizing my health, okay? Like I was going through some situations for the last couple of years that really had me like down and out. It was super hard, you know, it was a lot of like pain. And so one of my commitments to myself was really prioritizing and figuring out a way to really combat that. And so one thing that I did was go get a physical. I went and I made sure I was like good physically in my health, and I did things to aid that, right? Things like watching what I ate, things like going to the gym, things like managing my stress, things like going to sleep early, like drinking more water, getting rid of things that were like toxic to my body, like taking vitamins. Like this was so crucial, and I think it was probably one of the top 3 things that I did to become that girl. Like you literally glow differently when you're feeding yourself with the food and the nutrients that you need to thrive. So for those of you guys who don't go get checkups, who don't, you know, prioritize sleep, who don't prioritize drinking water, taking vitamins, like eating better, going to the gym, like you might want to do that, because I'm sure that this will definitely help you become that girl. And it's just all overall just good for your longevity of life and your quality of life, okay? So that's what I did. I went to get physicals. I was going to see specialists. I was taking care of my teeth. I was literally investing in my body. And I can say that like it's transformed my life. Like obviously there's always room for growth, but health is definitely wealth. And this one is specifically for my ladies, okay? If you are a woman, especially if you are a black woman, a lot of us suffer from like low iron and just like lack of vitamins, like the proper vitamins and nutrition. And I found that like taking my iron every day, taking my magnesium, my vitamin D, my zinc, my collagen, just really helped me glow from the inside out as well, and just have more energy and feel better. So that's something that I did to level up. Another thing I did was really prioritizing like doing things that I love, okay? Like, you are not going to succeed at things that you are not passionate at. I don't care. Like, there's so many things that I am quite good at, and I'm not trying to brag, but there are a lot of things that I'm good at, but I found that I was not effective, that I was not seeing things through, that I was not being persistent and consistent because I was not passionate about those things. I was giving it half effort, and although to everybody else it seemed like, whoa, she's so good, she's so talented, it was like not working for some reason. And I really believe it was because I was not passionate about it. I didn't resonate with the work that I was doing, and I was simply just doing it either for the money or just to say that I could do it. Like, it wasn't passionate, or it wasn't authentic. So another thing that I would suggest if you're trying to be that girl or that guy is to really prioritize making time for the things that you love and the things that you're good at, and then committing to see those things through. Because just because you're good at something and just because you like to do something doesn't mean it's going to come easy. Like, you're still going to have to put in that work, you're still going to have to shoot in a gym, you're still going to have to dedicate time and resources to becoming a better person in that area. But it just feels so much better, and when you feel better, you do better. All right. Another thing that I did was like, oh my gosh, this was so important, but like making space for the right people to come into my life. Like, I don't know if you're like me and you're like kind of introverted. So I'm like introverted, but no one believes that I'm introverted, but I am. So I'm kind of like an extroverted introvert. But making space for people to come into my life was something that was so important to my overall well-being. And sometimes, you know, you go through things in life and you feel like you're going through a season where God has like cut off people, cut off the dead weight. You're trying to almost prune your environment, and you have to get rid of things. But in this specific season of my life where I was trying to become that girl, I actually had to make space for people to come into my life. And I did that by literally doing a lot of practical steps, like going out more, calling back people who I had connected with in other seasons that I might not have necessarily given enough time to grow that relationship. I started going to like more events with friends. You know, like, I think that's so important because no man is an island, and it doesn't matter how good you are and how sufficient you feel like you are by yourself, you still need your own tribe. You still need people who can lift you up when you're down, and you still also need to be able to be in a situation where you can also give to other people, because that feeds you as well. So that was another thing that I did to become that girl, was really inviting people who either were where I was or where I wanted to be, whether it was in one area or another, and that really just made my life so much more worth living. So I would definitely recommend that if you are looking to become the best version of yourself. Another thing I did was like change my wardrobe. Like, I in the past was someone who was like super casual or either super dressy. I didn't have a lot of like moderate clothing or clothes that could kind of like, that looked like what I wanted to look like. Like, I thought about the ideal person that I wanted to be, how I wanted her to look like, what I wanted her to wear, and I literally invested in items that were just going to make me look like that. I believe that you're dressed the way you're dressed, and my mom has always said that growing up. And so really investing in my exterior, like my clothing and my shoes and all of that, was just a really good investment for me. And just to keep in mind, like, this doesn't mean you need to go and buy a whole brand new wardrobe. It could really mean just going through your existing wardrobe and saying, hey, like, this fits the season that I'm going into, or maybe this doesn't fit the season that I'm going into, and kind of like setting out a budget every month for the things that you want. Like, if you're looking to be a little bit more professional, you're gonna need to get more professional outfits. You're looking to be more, you know, soft life or just like clean cut, you're gonna need to get more clothes that look like that. And I was just looking to be a little bit more elevated in my style so that I was showing up as the ideal version of myself. So that's the thing that I did, and I did have to like try out different styles. As you grow, as you change seasons, your body changes, you go through different things, and the things that fit me now might not necessarily be the things that fit me 10 years ago. And it might continue to change, but in this season, I really had to invest in outfits that resembled who I wanted to become. And in that, I also invested a lot in like my personal care. So many of us are so negligent taking care of ourselves externally, especially those of us who are like Christian, who are modest. We feel like putting money into our looks is vanity. And although the obsession of those things can be considered vanity, taking care of yourself and adorning your body and yourself with goodness is not bad. It's not vanity. It's okay to do that. In fact, it's an investment in yourself. You don't get a brand new car and never wash it. Like, you don't get good things and don't take care of it. And it's the same thing for your body. Like, you want to make sure that you are showering, that you are getting nice perfumes, that you are buying makeup that's your skin color, that you are investing in hair products, that you are doing things that will elevate your look. Okay, I don't want to see you out there where you don't look in like the best version of yourself. It's not a good representation of you. And no matter how you look, like what color you are, how old you are, there are ways that you can invest in your exterior. You can go to a hairdresser. If you're like me, you like to do your own hair. You can learn on YouTube how to do your own hair. There's so many resources available. There's really no excuse to show up looking crazy, okay? Unless that's your vibe. If that's your higher self, that's cool. But for those of us who really do want to elevate our bodies and elevate our look and be a good reflection of the Holy Spirit, you know, you're gonna have to invest in good skincare products. You're gonna have to invest in, you know, if you're a guy, in getting haircuts and like taking care of yourself. Like, I don't know, I think that's kind of self-explanatory, but yeah. Another thing I did to become that girl was recognize that like I cannot do it all on my own. Like, I think that's another thing that was like super critical for me. Like, I am just such a self-sufficient person for the most part. Or not even self-sufficient, because I don't think any of us are, but I'm so independent, and that sometimes it's hard to like ask for help, you know, or realize, hey, I might need to outsource this skill, or I might need to get someone to do my hair because I don't have the capacity to do that, or I might need to hire a nanny or buy a gym membership because it's not working when I do work out at home. Like, I had to recognize that there was things in my life where I could actually outsource them so that I didn't have to be bogged down by the weight of like doing everything and just being so consumed with doing. And for me, that looked like something like getting a gym membership. You know, I have a gym in my apartment, but I just found that it was not effective at going to that gym, and like it didn't have the machines that I wanted. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna either buy a membership outside, or I'm gonna find a gym that allows me to do what I want. And sometimes for some of you guys, that might look like getting a personal trainer. It might look like going to a yoga, Pilates. It might look like whatever, joining a cycling or a Zumba class. Like, you have to find what works for you and get the right experts involved when necessary. The thing I did to become that girl was praying more. It's so important. Like, whether you're a Christian or you're Muslim or you are Buddhist, meditation and prayer is so necessary to tapping into your most divine self. By me becoming the best version of myself, I could not have done that by myself. I really needed help from God, from the Holy Spirit. And there's still times today where I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I just feel like I'm guided by the Lord, and He kind of directs me on like what to do, what to say, and just kind of sets up things for myself. So every single day, I have to start off my day in prayer, and I have to start off my day with listening to worship music and just positive music. And I found that my days are so much more productive when I intentionally make time for those positive starters, right? So for you, that might be like writing out a journal where you give your gratitude journal, where you give thanks for 5 things every morning. That might be making a journal about what you're hoping to happen today. That might be like literally taking notes throughout the day about how you feel and going through them at night to reevaluate your emotions. Like, there's so many things that you can do, but that is definitely something that I feel like I did and really made an impact in my life. And to that point, I also feel like getting help by a professional, right? Whether it's therapy or going through a guided session by a life coach, I found that that really helped me as well, becoming that girl, because it helped me to identify the areas where I was self-sabotaging and the areas where I was acting out on traumas or learned behaviors. And so if you're someone who struggles sometimes with imposter syndrome, or you just feel like you sabotage yourself or you doubt yourself a lot, I would advise going through therapy or going through guided sessions with a life coach and analyze those areas in your life where you can make a change to be a little bit more effective, right? Because sometimes there's certain things that you might not be able to see that a therapist can identify and help you just, modify and get over. So, and another thing on a more practical sense, becoming that girl, honestly, I invested in like better makeup. I invested in better makeup. Like, I did not realize, like, I am a frugal person. I don't care how much money I make. I'm always going to be frugal. I believe in the power of money and investing your money in the right way. And so I was not spending that much money on my makeup. I had a lot of makeup, but it wasn't extremely quality filled. It was more quantity than quality. Now I have a little bit less, but the things that I have, in my opinion, are so much more effective. And like really investing in a good concealer, I just have like these little wrinkles under my eyes. I've always had them since I was a kid. I think it's genetic or hereditary, sorry. But like really investing in good concealers for my skin, really investing in like good colors that were complementary to my tone, and literally investing in like the best of the best, in my opinion, really made a difference. Like I went from using like Fit Me's and like other lower tier like e.l.f., like MAC, to using like NARS, using Chanel, using Tarte, using like better quality products that I found just made me look better. So I would advise you, if you are looking to become that girl and just level up your entire look, okay, because we're all about holistic wellness. We're not just focusing on just one area. So if you're looking to elevate your physicality, invest in some good makeup, okay? Thank me later. Just go to Sephora, get some help, and try out some new products, and just thank me later. Another thing that I did to become that girl was get rid of comparison. Like comparing myself to other people, comparing my journey to other people was just not helping me. And I made an intentional decision, and I do make that intentional decision every single day, to not allow what's happening around me to affect what's happening inside me, right? So if that's like comparing myself to people who are my age, or comparing myself to people who are from my culture, or people just doing things outside, I don't do that no more. Like I just don't have the time or the capacity to compare my journey to anybody else. Like I'm so proud of myself and how far I've come, and I just don't have the time to like compare. I do not compare anymore. And that's something that I would advise for you to like analyze. Like what areas in your life are you comparing yourself to others? And instead of comparing, I allowed myself to be encouraged and motivated by what other people were doing. One thing that I did was surround myself with bosses. Surround myself with people who were movers, shakers, people who are living their dream, people who are achieving their purpose. And this does not mean people who are perfect. This simply just means people who are working towards their goals and trying every single day to show up as their best version of themselves. This is not people who are drama, people who are gossipers, people who are still struggling. Like, no. This is specifically a group of people who reflected either where I was trying to go or were already there. And I think that's so important for growth. Becoming that girl is really about positioning. You want to position yourself in an environment where you are challenged, sharpened, because iron sharpens iron, to grow and to be your best self. It's like another thing that I did was investing in experiences, like traveling, like going out with friends, like doing things that I'd never done. I prioritized experiences over things. A lot of my money went into experiences. I told myself that in order to be that girl, I had to act like it now. And I didn't allow myself to say, hey, I'll do this later. Like, I started doing things that I had only dreamed of. And I found that the more I did it, the more it challenged me to work harder and just make more money so that I could do more. Last but certainly not least is the intentionality to learn a new skill or to continue your learning, okay? Learning is just so important, and it just brings such a sense of value to your life. For me, I started learning how to trade. I'm learning how to trade right now. I was taking different courses to improve the skills that I already had. I am just always on the pursuit of learning, and not in a way where everything has to be monetized, but just in the way where I was like, listen, I want to be better. I want to have knowledge. And if you want to become that girl, especially where you are desiring to be in rooms where you've never been, you have to know what you're talking about. You have to be educated and you have to be confident. And I just find that confidence comes in knowledge. And it has nothing to do with degrees. It's kudos to you if you have a plethora of degrees. However, for those of us that do not have a plethora of degrees, we have the most amount of access to information than any generation so far in history. And so there's really no excuse for ignorance. And that's something that I found, like, becoming that girl was about being good at what I desire to be. So if you are like someone who wants to be an esthetician, you want to be in the beauty industry, you're gonna have to take programs and courses to become better at that. If you are someone who wants to become a better singer, you're gonna have to take training to become better at that. If you are an entrepreneur like myself, and let's say you are, I don't know, you're looking to start a trucking company, you're gonna have to educate yourself on that and learn from experts. And so any industry requires information, it requires learning, it requires training. And so that was something that I did to become the best version of myself, was really investing in my career, investing in my industry, investing into myself. And it's really helped. It's helped me become more confident and ultimately show up as my best self. Those are the things that I did to become that girl. And I'm sure there are so many things that I didn't say or I didn't mention. If there's anything else that you're doing to become that girl, drop it in the comments below. I would love to hear your suggestions as well. And I'd also love to hear those of you guys that are trying out these tips and how it impacts you in the next 3 months, okay? Try it out, commit to it for 3 months, and I'm sure that you will see some growth. And we will chat again soon. Bye, guys.